businesses had required people to wear a mask when they came in there, and people were, you know, getting all bent out of shape. I think is your air on?
No, that's the fan on my laptop.
Oh, okay. That thing is loud.
Yeah, sorry, I can try putting it
It's okay.
on another. Maybe if I just put it on another surface. Sorry about that.
It's kind of eerie. It's like I had no idea that would sound like that. It sounds like it's like I'm sitting on an airplane. It's funny. It's like.
I will try moving it to a different type of surface and see if that helps.
It's okay. It's not a big deal.
Great. Yeah, sorry. I know recording stuff is all like you can hear every like little noise.
It's kind of soothing, actually.
Yeah.
It's like white noise. No, it'd be good.
Yes.
You may have to speak up a little bit, but I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
So, anyway, so the comedy stuff, like, do you? I mean, do you think the Zoom thing is going to continue even like through COVID?
I mean, I think once, I think that it's going to be many months before we get to a point, like even after we get our numbers down in New York, I think it's going to be many months before it's safe to like be indoors, like at a comedy club again. And I mean, I don't know, people seem to be like, I mean, I think if you are bored at home, a Zoom stand-up show is better than not having a Zoom stand-up show.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I mean, if you're asking, like, if I think it's going to keep being a thing, like, even after comedy clubs are back open, like, I mean, I'm not thinking that far in the future right now, because I don't think that will happen for at least, like, 6 months to maybe a year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to even, like, plan on anything, because I think that when this first kicked off, people, everybody's first instinct is to dismiss it and say, oh, it'd be over with, or not that big of a deal. And then now here we are, still dealing with it, and some parts of the country are taking it seriously and some aren't, so it's hard to even imagine what it'll be.
Well, I mean, if we had a federal government that stepped in to require masks and ban indoor activities, I think we could be in a much better place right now. But because of the way that the Trump administration has handled it, I don't think this is going to go away until there's an effective vaccine.
Yeah, that would have been nice to have a federal government that actually did something.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking absurd, really.
Yeah, I mean, we're just, like, the nation is, like, so divided on the mask issue. I don't have any hopes for, like, social distancing measures, like, working in any part of the country. Because, like, the problem is, like, here in New York, we're, like, way on the downswing of this, but we're not, like, we can't ban our borders. We can't ban people from Texas and Florida from crossing our borders and bringing their non-mask abiding ways here. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a politician or a scientist, so my opinion doesn't really matter on this.
Well, yeah, I mean, the worst thing about it is, number one, when people were told the masks, help other people, which was a mistake because people don't want to help other people.
Right.
And then it becomes this weird political symbol where not wearing one means that you support, a certain group or whatever. And if you do wear one, then, that means that you believe all this other stuff or whatever. It's just so stupid. And it's just like, at the end of the day, we should have just been able to, like, have 6 weeks of lockdown and be pretty strict about it, and then we could have moved on,
Right.
But we don't get that luxury, I guess. I don't know. I just hope that through all this crap, something good happens. Something positive emerges. That's my hope.
I mean, I think we could get through the other side of this and then figure out what that positive thing was at the end. I mean, I'm a pretty negative person, so don't start talking about positive sides of this to
don't
me.
even try it. Don't don't even try it. Don't even bring up the bright side.
I mean, you can try it, but just let me know in advance if you don't want me to shoot down whatever hopeful thing you're going to say.
No, the only thing, it was nothing specific. I was just kind of saying at the bare minimum that maybe, something good will come from it at some point. But I don't really I wouldn't say that I'm a negative person, but I think I try to be pretty realistic and logical. And I think realistically, it's just going to keep dragging on, I think. And some people are going to live and do whatever they choose. And then, some people are going to try to take it seriously. Like, me and my wife have been very strict about going out and doing stuff because she has a compromised immune system. So we're very, kind of weary of that. And plus we have a small child, so we've been super strict about it. Then we have friends of ours who are like going places and doing things, and they're like, won't you guys come with us? We're going. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And some of them just don't understand. They're like, why not? It's like, well, we don't want to catch this thing, and it would be bad,
Right.
They're like, oh, you're going to get it anyway. Don't worry about it. It's like, yeah, you're going to be hungry tomorrow, so don't eat today.
Right. If your wife has a compromised immune system, you definitely shouldn't be hanging out with people.
No, we haven't hung out with anybody. And yeah, she has a autoimmune disease. And so when this thing kicked off, we went, like, March 23rd is the last time I went anywhere. Seriously. And that's the day actually I started my new job. I had to go to the office and get my laptop and stuff, and nobody was there because that week everybody kind of started working from home. But I've had one friend of mine come over, and I quizzed his ass. Like, I'm like, where have you been? What have you been doing? He's like, oh, I haven't been anywhere, man. I haven't been doing anything. Well, he comes over, and he had to help me do something around the house too. And then we hung out, had a few beers, and he left. And then the next week, he tells me that he had been going to church, and someone at his church had corona.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, I can't have you come back over anymore, for a long time. And he just says, okay. But, and that was after he had been over, I guess is when.
Right, well, that's... Sorry. No, I mean, like, you don't know, like, you don't necessarily get it from, like, hanging out with somebody one time, but, it's just repeat exposure is, like, not a good idea.
No, and he had been in the house, and he helped me replace the toilet, actually, because he works for a housing contractor, and he helped me do, like, one or two things around the house. And then, we hung out on the patio, had a few beers, but I'd asked him about if he'd been anywhere, and he said no. So I believed him, But it comes to find out he was still going to church, I guess, and going to other places apparently that I didn't know about.
Right.
So
well, I mean, if you need something repaired in your house, that's like a risk, though, where you have to like weigh the risk to benefit.
Yeah, you do. And there was another friend of mine who asked me a couple times about coming over, and I told him if he got a COVID test and it was negative, he could come over. And then I never heard from him again. But you can get him here for free, go get one. And I only said that because his girlfriend has been working through this whole time, and they've been going places, and like I don't think they ever really stopped doing anything. So I was like, hey man, you might want to get a COVID test, they're free. And he's like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And I never heard from him, but
yeah, well, getting the negative test doesn't mean anything. I mean, like here right now in New York, the waiting time is practically 2 weeks. So it's like by the time you get the test, it's meaningless because like you would have known if you had it anyway because you developed symptoms.
You see here the turnaround is like 2 days, 2 to 3 days, which is nice.
Maybe fewer people are getting tested.
Yeah, I mean here it's not. Here people don't even believe it exists in the first place.
Right.
So not a ton of people getting tested. My wife went and got tested. She got hers back in like 2 days. And some other people that we know went and did the same thing. So, I mean, it's weird, because you don't know like what to do, like you don't know, is it cool to hang out with people? Is it cool, like if someone came over and like we sat on the patio, like we're outside, would that be okay? Probably, but the risk is always there. And then it's like, well, is that worth the risk?
Yeah, I mean, the risk of outdoor transmission seems to be like fairly low, but depends what you're doing outside and how close you're getting to the other person. And like a low risk doesn't mean no risk. So
yeah, I just think about the because there's people who have that you read about, that people there's like, oh, we didn't go anywhere and then we finally went somewhere and we caught it and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know, like my niece is getting married in next month, and I told him I wasn't going to travel there because of the virus. My dad's like, oh, I think you'd probably be okay. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't really want to.
How far is the wedding?
Well, it's like, it'd be from here to back home in Virginia. It's like a 16-hour drive. And I'm certainly not going to fly because that seems like a nightmare.
Right.
So, driving there and then being around a crowd of people. And I don't know what the crowd's going to be like either. But, it's just not really something I was comfortable with, really.
Yeah, I mean, at minimum, you'd have to, like, use public bathrooms somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to... Now, normally when we would drive back from here back to Virginia, we would stop halfway, stay in a hotel, drive the rest of the way, But it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird time. You just got to figure it out the best you can, I guess.
Yeah.
What else do you have going on comedy-wise?
Well, I mean, and I do want to, in light of like the conversation we were just having, I do want to clarify that I understand times are serious and I am using comedy as a diversion and distraction, but I don't think that, I don't think that me doing comedy stuff means that, like, I'm not one of the people that doesn't believe that this is like a serious problem. I just can't think about it all the time or else I'd go crazy.
You know what, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention that, is the fact that, I mean, I think during times like this when everything is